my friends. Welcome once again to Walking with J.Beau, an almost daily walking vlog. Today I'm walking a little tired from having a weird sleep cycle. Turn the camera around and say hello. Hello my friends, we're going to be walking in the dark shortly. I wanted to say thank you for being here, mainly. Hope you're having a beautiful weekend. Today is Sunday, the 10th of August, 2025. So I just wanted to say hi. And we're going to walk on tonight. I'll see how I feel when I get to the choice of either walking 5 miles or 6. There will be that junction I will hit, and I will choose one of them. So we'll see what that is. So my friends, as it is right now, the weather is still beautiful. We are having I consider it a drought. I don't know what makes it officially a drought, but the National Weather Service won't say it's a drought yet. Even though we've not had any rain of any significance in quite a while, which is unusual for Maine. You can see the grass is turning brown everywhere, and you're starting to see discoloration of certain shrubs and bushes, like these plants here. And we've gone walking in the woods, and we have noticed the little streams and brooks have dried up. One of them was completely dry, and the other one just had little puddles of stagnant standing water. So it's a drought. I mean, look at, that's a drought. We're not stupid. We know a drought when we see one, right? So I just wanted to turn the camera around and say hello before we started walking. And my walking attire this evening is Pink Floyd and jeans. And so we got a few things to talk about. So I'm going to turn this around. And I know some people like the selfie stream a lot. I do too, but the problem is I have to walk carrying this and holding my arm out. And so I'll do it in little spurts. And we are going to be dark soon. So a lot of my dark walks, I like to have the selfie view like this. So anyway, either way, I'm glad you're here, and I'm happy to be here with you, walking. So I guess the big news for today was Benjamin Netanyahu's press conference earlier today. Look, another Generac generator. Automatically turns on when your power goes out. So I did not walk yesterday. Because of scheduling conflicts, but also because my left foot was hurting me, and I could still feel it tonight, but it's feeling a little better. Feels like it'll be okay. So that's also going to determine how far I walk tonight. It is warm and humid. Dew point's about 62. Not tremendously horrible, but it's getting up there. It's going to go increasing overnight tonight. Tomorrow and Monday is supposed to be very humid, very muggy. Specifically Tuesday, it's going to be 96, which basically means 90 or 91, because the media always overinflates it to get ratings. So that's what we're supposed to get. Now, we had a fantastic time at the range yesterday. It was a lot of fun. My two brothers and I and my sister-in-law. It was most enjoyable. Had chocolate chip cookies, homemade ones. Also had Mini 30. Couple of Mini 14s. I also uploaded a video for the Ruger P38, manufactured in November of 1960, which I did not know that on the slide of a P38 has the date it was manufactured. The month and the year stamped into the slide or roll marked, one or the other. So that was kind of cool. Very good pistol, good trigger, nice to shoot. The other good story from yesterday is we got the damn drone out of the tree. Remember I told you about the drone? Well, I had just about given up on it, but my brother was like, we got to get this drone. And we did use the, oh look, deer sitting there. Hi, baby. Did you hear that? Did you hear that snorting noise? When deer make that snorting noise, that tells all the other deer that they're here with that there's danger and we need to leave. So I was standing there recording that deer with the baby deer. Hope you saw the baby deer. And I hadn't seen the baby deer originally until it hopped out of the bush right in front of me. So mama deer is being a mama deer, and they make that noise that you just heard, telling the other deer that there's danger and we need to go. So that's what they did. Isn't that cool? So I see a lot of things when I go on walks that I really enjoy. And that is one of them. I really like the deer I see, and I see quite a few. So anyway, Israel's Benji Netanyahu gave a press conference today unveiling a plan that Israel is going to institute. They are going to wipe out Hamas. So they have stated they're going to do what I was hoping they would do. You have a lot of goody-goody two-shoes who want to protect Hamas, and you know, it's really unfortunate that children have been hurt, and some are hungry, starving, whatever you want to call it. A lot of that media is fake. Some of it is true. We are in the information age. It's a battle of InfoWars. Al Jazeera in the past has been caught lying. The New York Times just had to issue a correction and an apology, which I don't even think they issued an apology. I just think they issued a correction. But they had published a photograph of a starving child where you could see its ribs and shoulder blades, and turns out that was a fake picture. It wasn't even from this conflict. So they have to go finding pictures of starving kids, because obviously they had a difficult time finding some, right? Why else would they do that? So there's a lot of propaganda that the media enjoys, and you got to remember, these guys are always selling politics. They're selling something. A lot of people in the world hate Jews. They hate Israel. They blame Jews for everything. Never mind Hamas attacking on October 7th, murdering over 1,000 citizens in a very inhumane, butchering way. Hamas puts gay people to death. They have sworn to kill Americans, and have. They're very, very nasty ideologues. And for some damn reason, leftists keep siding with these people. They want to sing Kumbaya, and they just think that Hamas is like other people. And you have to understand that Palestine is not Hamas. Hamas is a terrorist group. They took over Palestine. Years ago, Israel respected their sovereignty and left them alone, under the promise that the people would have a democratic government and they would vote. And all of that disappeared. So they've had their chance. What they did on October 7th was inexcusable, and they have paid the price of waging war. When you do things like that, your people get annihilated. It's really quite simple math. It's not something anybody wants, but if you let Hamas go and you let them rebuild, 10, 20 years from now, they'll be doing the same thing, if not worse. And they were being financed by Iran, partially, and Hamas was taking food and selling it on the black market to buy weapons. 25% of Hamas is left, and they hid amongst the ruins, they hid underneath schools, they hid underneath hospitals. And you have to ask yourself, what kind of people hide underneath children and use them for human shields. And you know, there's so many tunnel systems in Palestine where you can hide underground. Hamas goes down there and they hide from the IDF. Well, why aren't they filling these tunnels with children and innocent people? I'll tell you why. Because every time Israel kills one of these kids or somebody by accident, then the world's media picks up on it and goes anti-Israel with it. And, you know, it's propaganda. Hamas is using the media, a willing participant. So, it has shown how many people in the United States are really ass backwards and have things absolutely incorrectly wrong with regard to Hamas and Palestine. These people want us dead, okay? They want us dead. They've said they want us dead. They've tried to kill us. And everything they're doing now is to destroy Israel, the United States, and anybody else that is not Islam. So, these people are radical lunatics. And I fully support removing Hamas from the face of the earth. Legally, it's my disclaimer for the algorithm. Legally, I don't want to see any horrible war crimes or anything that would make the world right again. God forbid. So sometimes you have to deal with things in a very nasty way. And it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that, you know, Hamas took such control over Palestine. And Palestinians deserved better than that. And they didn't get it. Did not get it. They did not get it. Look at this. Want a chair? Look at that. It's a smoking chair. Smoke a pipe and read a book. Or watch Archie Bunker. So anyways, really enjoying the weather we've been having. Smell some wood burning. I don't know if it's the Canadian fires or if it's wood burning, like somebody's wood in their backyard. Definitely smell that. It smells like in the wintertime when somebody's running a wood stove. So anyway, I'm going to turn the camera around now. I just wanted to say hi. Got interrupted by some deer. In a good way. So earlier today, a little while ago actually, I dropped my brother off at the airport, Portland, Maine, and he is on one of 2 flights right now as we record this. He wasn't very far from Charlotte, North Carolina, when I left the house. Then he's going to transfer onto a plane that's going to Roanoke, Virginia. So I decided to go for a walk before it got too late because my sleep got messed up, and I think I experienced something that is similar to jet lag in that my sleep schedule was messed up because of what time I had to go pick him up at the airport Friday. Then we got up really early to go to the range Saturday morning, and I didn't get all the sleep I wanted then either. Then last night, I'm back on a regular schedule, and I slept 8 hours. 8 friggin' hours. Now, I have told you guys before, for some reason, on Sundays, and it's always on Sunday morning, Saturday night when I go to bed, I sleep through Sunday, and I sleep 8 hours, sometimes 10. Sometimes 10 hours, once in a great while. But most of the time it's 8 hours. The rest of the week, 6 hours. So your body gets on a clock, and when you mess it up, it kicks your can. So despite getting 8 hours of sleep, I've been yawning all day. It's almost like I had too much sleep. Feeling okay now. I mean, I should have plenty of energy for this walk. It feels like I do, but it's one of those things. Before I started, I was like, ugh, I don't feel like doing it. So I think there's something to that. I don't know. But your body has a clock, an internal one. It gets used to a cycle. And when you screw it up, it screws up. So I realize with the daylight amount we have right now that the picture is starting to vibrate. That's because of the stabilizer losing light. It needs light to stay stable. So I'm going to cut across here. Somebody's cooking spaghetti and meatballs. I smell spaghetti and meatballs. Or a lasagna. I think it's spaghetti and meatballs. It smells like Luigi's spaghetti and meatballs. But Luigi's has new ownership, and they have screwed up the sauce and the meatballs. Damn shame. So my brother picked up some stuff from there. I had half a meatball sub, and you know, it wasn't horrible. It tasted good. It just wasn't the recipe sauce that they've used since the 1950s. This place has been sold 3 or 4 times, and the past couple of times, actually past 3 times, the new owners tried to get away with using a different sauce. And the people that go there get on their case about it, and they end up switching back to the marinara sauce that they were using. And you know, you can't mess with the sauce. And I think the lady that worked there for 20-30 years, I think she retired, or God forbid she passed away, I'm not sure, but she was the mother of a friend of mine in the old neighborhood. Tony's mother, it's always what I knew her as. I think her name was Teresa or something. If I'm wrong, forgive me. It's been a while. But so that's the kind of thing that happens when you have people that know how things are done get old and then get out of the way. And then the younger people think they have a better idea, and they end up making new Coke and learn the hard way. I guarantee you business is going to drop off. They're going to wonder why, and somebody's going to tell them, you changed your sauce. That's why I don't come here anymore. This sandwich you make is okay, that's why I'm here, but I don't order the spaghetti I used to order because you guys changed the sauce. That's what somebody's going to tell them, more than one person, and they'll switch back to the sauce they had. Don't mess with the special sauce. I can tell you that a Burger King strawberry shake tastes like the strawberry shake I used to have when I was a kid. So do the onion rings. And Burger King's French fries have always sucked. McDonald's French fries have always been good. So the ideal thing for me would be a double Whopper with cheese, onion rings, strawberry shake, and a soft drink of whatever choice, you know, Coke or Pepsi. I really honestly have not had a preference for either one. I went through a Pepsi phase, I went through a Coke phase, and it's like, you know what, I like both of them. So, and I used to love Royal Crown Cola, RC Cola, because my brother and I used to try to win money from the bottle caps. And that was pretty cool, because sometimes you got some righteous bucks. I think my brother got 25 or 50 bucks one time or something like that. Righteous bucks, man. And you can see we've got a pink sky tonight. I don't know quite how this looks on here. Probably shaking a little bit. Kid did a wheelie with an electric bike. How awesome is that? Now I know for sure I would have loved those as a kid. I probably would have cracked open my cabeza by this time though. That was cool. I was filming this time. The other day, a couple weeks ago there, we were walking. A guy on a motorcycle did a wheelie and I had just missed it. And then he did another one around the corner just as he went behind a parked car. This time I got the damn wheelie. I got two of them. One on a gasoline-powered little scooter, and the other one on an electric bike by a young kid. You know, probably out with his older brother, having fun. Pretty cool. So my left ankle is feeling really good actually, and I know exactly what I did. I had tied my shoes too tightly, and I did that a couple of times playing ice hockey years ago. I put my skates on, the laces too tight over my arch, not the part of the arch that's directly over the arch, but the ankle part, where the arch meets the ankle. Hi, little doggies. Hi. Yeah. Putting on a nice defensive show. Did you see that? The dog was like putting on a good defensive show. They were both looking back at the door. Like, Mama, Mama. Come save us, but they're going to stand out there looking tough anyway. And those little dogs are funny. Generac, another Generac across the street. I'm seeing these damn Generacs all over the place. You're seeing more of them because a couple of years ago, we had more power outages than we used to. Hey, how you doing? So we're having a lot more power outages than we used to. And the state of Maine Democrats like to say it's climate change. It's more like political change. And Democrats have allowed our infrastructure to go to crap. The bridges are falling apart. This happens everywhere where Democrats run things. So And it also happens in some red states, just because they're poor. But Maine is not a poor state. It's a rural state with poor people in it. I'm just saying. Now, my younger brother raises a good point. We've been getting a lot of torrential rains that we didn't used to see. But, as he stated, it happened in the 1930s also. So seasons change, climates change. Nobody's saying that climates don't change. My argument has always been that they have discredited themselves so much trying to promote greenhouse gases since I was a teenager. We have to recycle when realistically only 20% gets recycled, 80% goes to the landfill, and it's all been a scam. Communities are making money off it from government subsidies, which hopefully has been cut off by the Trump administration. Like when they said no more, there's not going to be any more windmills, solar farms, all of that stuff is not going to get approvals from the EPA. With Lee Zeldin, and Lee Zeldin is the one that does that, and he's the one that ran against Governor Hochul in New York and came closer than anybody thought a Republican would in New York. And so there's going to be some good things happening. It's a climate scam, you know. You know, they run their propaganda. That's the problem. They've discredited themselves. The ice caps are going to melt by the year 2000. New York will be underwater. Well, that hasn't happened. Sea levels have not risen. And if they have, it's so minuscule, it's not even worth talking about. I'm going to salute the flag going by here. That's a veteran guy. So they're running a big scam, okay? And they've been doing it for a long time. And it's always the left-wing media promoting it, pushing it, selling the propaganda. And truth be told, a lot of these liberal Democrats are morons, literally. And I'm not really trying to belittle people, but when you have an actual member of Congress in session on a committee, all right, this guy is on a committee, forget his name. Oh man, I wish I could remember his name. Black dude who speaks softly. Anyway, he was talking about climate change, and he was talking about military bases and how we're not going to be able to have a military base on a small island like Guam because Guam, an island, could flip over and capsize. This guy actually said this. You can look it up. Sorry, my friends, but that is a fucking moron. So this guy honestly believed that with the ocean levels rising and having too much of an army base on Guam, the island would flip upside down and capsize. I have no idea why anybody would even think anything like that were possible, because you sure as hell can't base that on anything that's ever happened, right? So it's like, wow. You can look that up if you want to. It will come up on Google with a video clip. There's a video clip of him saying it. Moron, moron. ladies and gentlemen, that is a fucking moron. So a lot of these people believe stupid things like that. They believe what they're told. You know, they're told the ice caps are going to melt by a certain date and we're all going to die, and idiots like AOC parrot it. It's an existential threat. That's their favorite word now. Can't even say it. Existential threat. It's fear-mongering. That's what it is. Tongue-twisting fear-mongering on top of that. Alright, I'm going to switch to night mode. It's getting dark enough. Be right back, my friend. There we go, my friends. Instant night mode. So I hope you don't get seasick. At least you'll be able to see. I have to check my messages. American Airlines flight blank 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 has now landed at CLT in Charlotte. Alright, I got my text. I was tracking a flight. Ooh, I've walked 2.3 miles. Remington 223. How about that? All right. So anyways, my friends, there's a lot of fear-mongering that the Democrats do about everything, including this millions of people are going to lose Medicare. That is a lie. And they're saying that now because they're waiting for the media to back that up with, you know, friggin' Jose gets kicked off Medicare because he's an illegal. And so they're going to pull on the heartstrings like they tried to do with Doge. Remember that? Oh, firing career employees, losing their jobs. Well, a bunch of cushy, overpaid government employees, many of which were offered early retirement with a really good bennies package. They're not losing money, my friends. People need to live in friggin' reality. They make it sound like they're on a train now, hoboing with their suitcase or their towel tied around a pole over their shoulder with their possessions, like the old hobos. The friggin' media is a joke. A very bad joke. Anyway, I'm gonna get the miles in tonight. Hot shower later will feel good. I'll have some trail mix when I get back. I hope everybody's having a good weekend, or had a good weekend. It's just about over now. And pretty much most of the eastern seaboard's going to be hot. It's been hot. It cooled off there quite a bit. Parts of down south, but the heat's coming back. And we got this heat bubble over New England here. And I think Tuesday we're going to see like 90 to 96 according to the media. Which again, they like to hype up everything for the climate change. And you know, it was a good day when the Weather Channel was sold by NBC Universal. They were sold to Fox. So now they don't hype up all this climate garbage like they used to. The Weather Channel under NBC was horrible, horrendous, horrendously horrible. They are the existential threat to humanity. There. See, I got that out because I wasn't thinking about how it was pronounced. I just said it from habit. So anyway, the drone story. Oh my God. I gotta turn the camera around for this. I was talking about it and I got distracted. All right, the drone, we had got it stuck up in a tree, was going to be there for eternity. But my younger brother figured it out. I had all but given up on it because, you know, it's like, it's so far up there. And I told you guys about it. Couldn't throw a baseball up. You know, you want to do like you used to when you were a kid, and as soon as you get right about here, your body says, no, you're not going to do that no more. You're going to break something. And your body tells you, you know. Now, when we were kids, we could just lean back and huck things up 5-6 stories, baseball, no problem. You could throw a baseball in from the outfield to home plate, close to it. Not anymore, for either one of us. So anyway, my brother had the idea, well, I got this roof rake I was talking about earlier before I got distracted. And the roof rake extends quite a long way. I'm not sure how long it extends, but it's pretty good. It'll reach the top of most roofs, a 2-story building, because you figure, you know, you get up on a roof, you're at an angle, so it has to be longer than the height of 2 stories. And it's got like this scoop thing on it, a scoopy thing, to pull the snow off the roof, to get the weight of the snow off the roof so your roof doesn't cave in, which I'm sure you've read about in the news does happen. And it's been kind of a running joke with us, because we used to have to climb up there and we used to have to push the snow off and then clean it with a snowblower. And we have not had to do that in quite a few years now. Either we get a blizzard, 18 inches, 20 inches, and it was windy and the wind kept the snow drift off the roof, you know, so most of the roof would be down to the shingles. And I'm not talking about the roof on top of the house. The top of the house is sloped on more than one side, you know. So the snow doesn't really adhere to it anyway. That's why you have a peak on a roof in New England. You have to. If you had a flat roof dwelling, your house ain't gonna make it. It just isn't. So somebody else had left a comment talking about how I need to talk about the architecture in the neighborhoods I walk in because they're into architecture. So I get all kinds of comments from different people, so this is for them. When you see all these houses, these single story, they all have a peaked sloped roof. I believe it's a 45-degree angle, could be wrong for the most part. Some of them slope a little less. If you want more ceiling space inside, which is what we chose to do with the room attached to our house, which my brother built, by the way. And so it's a really cool room. That's where I got the music room, and got a pool table and arcade games, video games, upright machines, you know what I mean? So as we got life flight flying overhead. We'll see a helicopter come. I don't know how much you'll be able to see, but I'll hold it steady. So that is the life flight helicopter. And when you see that, that's always something bad. That means somebody's having a bad day. It's taken off from the hospital here. Could be somebody that needs to be transported to a burn center or someplace else for specialized care that they can't get here. Or they've gone out to get somebody that needs care from the boonies around here. But anyway, the architecture here, the houses are peaked. They have peaks. And so anyway, we took this roof rake. If you don't know what a roof rake is, you can look it up. Some guy in Maine invented that, made a fortune. He's got a patent on it. I think I paid $60 something for the one we have. I bought that years ago, and the running joke is, since I bought it, we haven't had to use it. Not once. I bought this 10 years ago. Haven't had to use it. It's been used to get crap that's been stuck in the damn trees. So we've had more use from it, from stuff that's gotten stuck in the tree. This is the second drone we get stuck in a tree. So pretty hilarious. So anyway, my brother Jim came up with the idea of extending this as far as it would go, straight upward, and then pushing it up into the tree, because there's no way you can do it on flat ground and then lift it up, because the weight of it would bend and break the handles and stuff. The shafts, they would just fold under the weight. So you use pushing the pole straight up as leverage. So the weight is all sitting down towards the handle. And you know what I mean. It's pretty simple science with fulcrums and all that stuff. I don't know all the mathematics of it, but you understand what I'm saying. And so then you push the pole straight up, and then while it's straight up there resting against the tree, you tape another pole extension to it. And we had to go up about 60 feet or more. I mean, my brother's trying to say it's not 6 stories. I'm telling you it's 6 stories. When you look straight up, it doesn't look like it, but when you look from the side, that's what it looks like to me. You know, I got a 2-story house, and it's 3 times that, close to it. If it isn't 60, then it's 50. Regardless, it was way up there. And his idea worked, and to be honest with you, I was just about mentally beaten, frustrated, couldn't think of anything, and he figured it out and solved it. So there you go. Kudos to doing that. And there's not really any credit I can take at all, other than I helped him tie a couple of sections while we did that. It definitely was a 2-man operation. And then, while it was getting pushed up there, I had to go off quite far away at an angle, because like I said, standing off to the side, you can see a better 3D angle to the drone. So we get some people here. These young people are going to laugh because I'm filming, I'm sure. Hello. So we finally got the damn thing down. Took forever. But patience, and we got it. It was still turned into a teamwork thing, but basically he came up with the idea of the poles, and I didn't even think of that. So there you have it. I'm good at taking things apart, putting them back together. He's not, and he's much better at figuring out problem things like that. So there you have it. Everybody's good at something, and somebody else is good at something else. So anyway, we got that figured out. We got the drone back, and we even tried to shoot it out of the tree. Remember I told you the BB gun idea? And so we both tried that. I tried my 1911 CO2 BB gun, and he used his special collector's Dan Wesson BB and pellet gun, and to shoot pellets, shoots pellets, the pistol. So we said, well, the hell with it, we'll just try to knock it out of the tree. If it breaks, it breaks. But when we got it down with that extended pole system, there was one hole in the top of the chassis and 5 or 6 dents on it where we were hitting it with BBs and pellets, and it didn't destroy it. So they didn't quite hit hard enough to really do tremendous damage. And after we got it back, I flew it, shot some video, and it works fine. So there's our drone story. Now we're going to have a drone for the range and get some range footage with the drone. It's not going to be the best high-D video. 720p might be a little blocky at times, but we'll have it. The camera is on the drone, and so is the small memory card. So we'll do the best we can, my friends, with what we have. $200 drone these days is a cheap drone. When you start getting up to $500, $600, $700, then you start getting the 4K, 8K built-in stabilization software, which is basically a gimbal electronically built into it, stabilizes the image. But it will still be nice anyway. It shoots good video when the drone is just hovering, standing still with no wind. So definitely has to be a day with no wind, like today. There was absolutely no wind today at all, and there still isn't. And in fact, I was trying the drone out in the kitchen, and the damn air conditioning, air circulation from a fan and air conditioning caused the drone to fly into the microwave oven. Not into the oven, but it hit the oven, you know. I wonder what a microwave drone would do. Probably would explode. So anyway, that's the drone story. Hope you enjoyed it. I was so frustrated and irritated by that damn drone that I got it stuck, and it was an accident, but it was also partly to do with not being used to using it. So it was user mistake combined with a wind gust, because as soon as you get above the treetops, the wind current up there is much stronger than it is down on the ground. So it got up past the height of the building and the trees, and the wind just took it. I fought and got it back. I tried to land it, then I hit the wrong button. And now I know when you hit the GPS button, if the drone is right at this height, right in front of you, it will shoot way up in the air high and then come back down and land right on the ground. So I don't know why it has to go up in the air when you want it to land, and then it comes down and lands. But when you aren't used to doing that and you see that, it's like, oh my God, what's it doing? I've lost control of it. So I pushed and held down on the GPS button, which actually turns off the GPS. So then I'm trying to fly it against the wind, and we got video of this. And then I push the GPS button and turn it back on. Well, as soon as I did that, it zipped right up in the air, and it hadn't occurred to me that it was going to do that. And when it zipped right up in front of the damn tree that it ended up getting stuck in. So I was like, okay, well, the GPS thing, I guess, isn't working. But eventually it would have come over and landed, but I didn't know that. I thought I was losing control of it, when in fact all I had to do was set the GPS and not touch anything. I would have hit that button and it would have come back and landed right in front of where the controller is. I think it uses the controller as a point of reference to land. So in other words, if I'm standing where I am now and I walk along with the drone like 100 feet and I push the GPS button, it's not going to land where I started from. It's going to land where I have the controller, I'm pretty sure. It doesn't say in the owner's manual. The owner's manual is very short. It doesn't really say anything. It's like in 7 or 8 languages. So the whole booklet is made up of the same info on just 5 pages, just in different languages, repeating itself. So, but anyway, it was easy to learn how to use it, and it figures the second flight I did got stuck in the tree. I didn't get a chance to learn it, you know. Now we got it. I flew it today, my brother flew it, and my brother actually sent it up on top of the house to see how the flashing is on the chimney on the roof, see if it needs attention or not. So we got some footage of that. So there is, you know, uses for it, and it worked fine. The worst thing is losing it in a tree. It's bad enough losing it in a regular tree. You know, like you got a tree right there, it's a couple stories tall. That wouldn't be any fun. But it's high enough up where you could actually get it, you know. You could put a ladder up against the base of the tree, go up there with a long pokey stick and knock it out. The tree we're talking about was a big giant pine tree. I think the drone was 50 to 60 feet up, probably 60, but that's arguable. There's no way to measure it. Well, actually there is, but I'm not that savvy in math, and that was one of the problems that I had in college. Was I graduated with a 3.8 GPA. The best you can do is 4. I would have had a 4.0 if it weren't for math. So I did pass my college algebra and basic calculus. Half the time I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I just barely squeaked by with a C. And to be honest with you, I think the instructor knew I was there to work and saw my other grades. And to be honest with you, I think the instructor helped me pass that class, you know what I mean? Because I don't feel like I did that well in it at all. But whatever the case is, you can figure out things like that if you have some of the mathematical components. Like, we have a rangefinder, digital laser rangefinder, and it's good at telling you distance. So if you have a visual sighting on how far something is away, up in the tree, let's say it says, I don't know, we'll just pick a number, 100 yards away to where it is in the tree, and then the base of the tree is 50 yards. See what I mean? You can figure out the distance if you have one or two mathematical components using the point that you're standing at. So you can calculate flagpole heights and things like that. That's what we did in school. But I'm not really that curious to go through all of that to figure that out. Besides, we got the damn thing back, and none of that math would have helped us get it back. So that's part of the argument that my dad used to use. That you have a lot of educated morons. They know how to figure things out with math and all this other stuff, and they use a lot of what he called 25-cent college words. But they didn't know how to get a drone out of a tree. And Jim did. So Jim is smarter than these people, which is why he runs multi-million-dollar construction jobs and makes good money. So some people can't do that. So anyway, we got the damn drone back. A little bit of teamwork, physical aspects of it, but, and I had mentioned on the walk that a BB gun, my rifle we could not use, but a BB pistol at 380, 400 feet per second, judging by the height that it was, might have had a chance at it. Turns out it put more dents in it and only one hole through the shell. It just wasn't hitting it hard enough to knock it out of the tree. In fact, a couple of the BBs I shot came straight back and bounced off something next to me, and I was wearing eye protection. So anyway, that was a lot of fun in hindsight, and it certainly was rewarding after all the hell that damn drone put me through. I got post-traumatic stress over that damn thing. I'm glad it's out. It's going to stay out too, and if it gets stuck, it's not going to be something I did. And we're only going to use it now at the range, and there's no trees at the range to get a drone stuck into. But there are power lines. Definitely have to watch out for those, but I don't think we'll go anywhere near those. And the only other thing I'd have to watch out for with it is when we have what we call our pew-pew puddle. Make sure it doesn't crash land in the water. And that would be one of those things where we'd have to watch the battery strength. So anyway, that's the drone story. Hope you enjoyed it. I'm going to turn this around now and finish up the walk and come back on. I'll let it record like I usually do, and then I'll come back and say goodbyes when we get to where we're going. All right, so we're having a good time tonight, my friends. So anyway, yes, there you go with the architecture question you asked me. I should talk about the architecture. So I did. I'm going to talk about another piece of architecture when we walk by it that I have talked about before, and I'm guessing maybe you missed it because I noticed you are a new viewer. Thank you very much, by the way, for checking out my walks. And it is called Walking with J.Beau, an almost daily walking vlog. I don't walk every day, but I walk most days. And when I do, I don't like to edit all the video, so you get pretty much the whole walk, unless I inadvertently say something of personal info that I did not want to put on YouTube. Because sometimes you get talking and you say things. Oh, okay, well, I can't mention something located next to where I live, because then it gives away the location of the bat cave. And then, you know, you go out for a walk one day and you come back and somebody broke in and stole your stuff. So we don't want that. Even worse, I don't want to get hunted down by some liberal who's offended by what I say. These people are violent. Leftists are violent. They settle their solutions with vindication. Very vindictive. You insult me and I'm going to cut your fingers off with an axe attitude. That's what they have. So you won't be able to type insults anymore. These people are dangerous. Angry. Angry people. Don't be an angry person. Angry people die early. Oh, speaking of angry people dying early, this guy in Georgia went berserk with a gun. He had what was reported as at least 5 firearms. One was known to be a long gun. They wouldn't specify what it is, but he shot 40 rounds. 40 rounds at the CDC building in Georgia near Emory University. And from what I read, Emory University refused to let him on campus when he tried to come on the campus. And kind of makes you wonder why he didn't start shooting there. So he left there, and I guess there was a CVS pharmacy not far. And he stood out front of the pharmacy firing across the street at the CDC. He was angry because he has been sick. He blamed the CDC for the COVID vaccine that he got. And he was blaming his sickness on the COVID vaccine. They didn't elaborate what his sickness was, but I later read that he was blaming the COVID-19 shot, according to neighbors. Again, just because a neighbor said it doesn't mean it's actually what happened. Some people exaggerate. But he claims that he had become suicidal and he was on meds. How many times have you heard me say on this walk that many of these mass shooters are on psych meds? Nobody will do a study on it worth a crap. And I'm telling you, almost every time we see one of these, somebody has been depressed. They've been seeing a therapist, psychologist, or a psychiatrist, and they were prescribed psych medications. And how many commercials have you seen for psych medications where they said if you feel suicidal thoughts of anger or harming others, to contact your physician immediately? So it's a known side effect. The media covers it up because most of the revenue that the media gets is from big pharma. So they get millions and millions and millions of dollars to tell everybody how great these drugs are. So that's why they pushed the vaccinations. That's why they push psych medications and other things. I mean, you watch TV now, these news networks, and it's depressing because everything they talk about reminds you that you're dying. Who the hell wants to watch that crap? I don't. You know, your prostate's plugged up, your winky don't work no more, your heart's clogged up, your veins are clogged up, you're dying of cancer, and because of your chemotherapy, well, now you're going to get strokes, so you need to take this. And it's like, geez, you're killing people, driving them crazy. So anyways, this guy was on psych medications and mental health issues. Not a shocker, is it? Not a shocker. Unbelievable, right? Those trans people that did mass shootings, one of them shot up a parade in Illinois with a Kel-Tec collapsible 9mm carbine, folding one, you could put in a backpack, which is what this person did. And he came in dressed as a woman, and went up on the rooftop and opened fire on the parade. Mental health issues revealed later. Now that other trans woman, or trans man, or trans person, I don't even know what the hell I'm supposed to say anymore, Texas Christian school, was on psych medications. You know, it's battling depression, self-harm. It's an epidemic among young people. You know, a lot of these people are just unhappy people. You can attribute that to whatever you want it to: a lack of religion, lack of God, lack of parenting, lack of morals for whatever reason, societal decay. But that's what we got. So anyway, architecture. I hope you can see this. I think you can. You'll see on this rooftop, let me elevate this so we can get up a little higher. You'll see on this rooftop, it is actually a USA flag painted on the roof, right? Now this flag was painted by renowned artist Scott Lebedo. Now Scott Lebedo, there's actually a good shot of this online if you do a search, and there's also a meme that is incorrect and made up, and the meme online says that a guy had a flag on his lawn and his neighbor kept taking his flag, so in retaliation he painted his roof with a flag. Now that's a cute, clever meme, but that's not the story. That's an internet fairy tale. It's actually done by Scott Lebedo, who you may or may not have seen doing patriotic artwork at Trump rallies. When George Bush was president, he did a 50-state tour, and he painted a rooftop in all 50 states. And this is the one he did in Maine, in Lewiston here. So it's still there. It's a good quality paint. That was painted 20 years ago. He did that in 2005, I believe. So 20 years later, it's still on this roof. So there you go. You wanted to hear about some architecture? Well, there you have it. New walk viewer. There is some architecture. So hope you enjoyed that story. So that's Scott Lebedo in New York City. He's made himself famous a few times. He did a thing with something like 1,000 inflatable penises. They had the mayor of New York's name on it because he's from New York, and he said the mayor of New York was a dick, and he actually flew all of these helium-filled balloon penises that he made outside City Hall, I think it was, or some kind of parade that the mayor was attending. So he has been arrested a couple times for putting bloody paint on sidewalks, criticizing far left extremism. He's an artist, does very good work. And so he's one that was in New York when 9/11 happened, and he was one of the people that helped restore patriotism in New York after that happened. He's got a rather foul potty New York potty mouth, a lot of F-bombs with that accent, you know. He talks like that. So he's always bad-mouthing liberals and leftists, and I love him for it. So anyway, he painted that over here. So I just thought I'd share that with you. That's all. So now we're walking some of Lewiston, Maine, and if you're new to the walks, my night walks are a little more unstable than they are in the day because of the GoPro stabilization. Does not work at night. Well, it does, but the problem is anything with a light on it streaks, looks unwatchable. Even though the picture is somewhat steady, it still shakes. So better off choosing the super wide angle. You hear a vehicle with no muffler. Super wide angle, which makes my face look wider, unfortunately. But because it has a bigger picture, and actually you can get more image in there that's less shaky, it's more stable. And the best would be to record in 4K, which I can with this, which is even bigger, better picture quality. But it literally takes hours to convert it to a file to upload, and then it takes a long time to upload it as well. And this literally would not finish until tomorrow if I started tonight. So that's a lot of wear and tear on a computer to just leave it running, doing something. Because when you're editing video, the CPU gets hot, and it's just, I'm just not going to do that. Now I would for a special occasion go watch a fireworks display at night or something, mounted steady so it's not moving. And that's really the problem, is I'm using it while I'm walking, so it's always moving. Most of my walks are in Lewiston, Auburn. Sometimes we'll make a trip in the ocean or out in the woods somewhere, lakes. But this walk is about exercise. MAHA, Make America Healthy Again. Like right now, I got sweat dripping down my back of my neck, from under my hat, off my earlobe. And it's about the workout and the exercise. So while I walk, I like to keep talking about things to preoccupy my mind, because when you're doing this just about every day, it starts to become a little monotonous and you need to mentally occupy yourself. And I was like, well, I like politics, and I talk about different things. I talk about drones, I talk about things that happen, and I have a large vinyl record collection. Quite a few thousand vinyl LPs, and you know, plus there's the firearms. I go shooting every weekend, so there's a lot of stuff to talk about. And I have different playlists on my profile. If you're watching this as a new viewer, one of the playlists is Woods Walk Gun Talk series. That's where every walk is in the woods, on trails, and I talk about politics or firearms or both. So it's like Woods Walk, which is basically a talk about whatever, and then Gun Talk. So it's a combination of the two. So there's ones from winter, there's ones from fall with beautiful fall foliage, I think some of my favorite ones was in the fall before the election, talking about how I knew Trump was going to win, and how I was saying it's not because, and that was the exact way I said it in the video too. I'm not being a homer, you know, because you always have those guys where your team loses in the playoffs because of what you think is a bad call, or it was a bad call. Truth of the matter is your team wasn't good enough to put them away when they were up 3-1, and then they lose game 6 to force an overtime, and they end up losing the series, where basically the only reason why you were at a game 6 relying on a ref call is because your team wasn't good enough to put them away. And that's the truth of it. And that's the kind of thing you learn when you get older. When you're younger, you get all mad as hell. You blame the ref, and oh, this son of a bitch, and some of them were really bad. I'm thinking of Koharski, Terry Gregson. Oh, horrible. And they have called some bad games. But the reason why you have a 7-game series is because the better team will usually win. That's not the most talented team, that's the better team. Those are two different things. The team that did the best teamwork, T-E-A-M, team work, usually will win. So, anyway, that's how I feel about the election. And I wasn't saying Trump was going to win because I've been a Trump supporter forever, since he started, because I have been. I was supporting Trump when people were like, "You're supporting Trump? Really? What's wrong with you? He's a TV celebrity. What the hell does he know about anything? What the hell's wrong with you?" Well, I saw a very small rally, and he only had 300, maybe 400 people at in the beginning. And he was saying stuff that I've been calling for a long time. "I'm gonna bomb the shit out of ISIS," he said. He said it just like that. And as soon as he said that, I was like, yeah, that is exactly how I feel about it. We need some people that are gonna come in and actually do something. So that's when I started following him, and people were like, you know, Ted Cruz and these other people that were running, you know, it's going to be one of them. Marco Rubio, who Trump would call Little Marco, because he is little. He's like 5'2" or something. He's a short little squeaky guy. And let me tell you, I went to one of the 5 Trump rallies I went to in Manchester, New Hampshire, at the arena they have there. And I was sitting right behind the special reserve seating for all the Republicans. And it was just before COVID broke out. It was in February of 2020. And to get in there, we were sitting outside hours in February, friggin' New Hampshire. Luckily, it warmed up to a 32 to 36 degrees, which is not warm, okay? And we're getting, you know, like the feeling of hypothermia setting in. So we took turns. Everybody would take a turn to go to this Mexican restaurant that was next to the arena. And I went inside there to warm up. So ordered a nice meal, quesadillas or something. I don't remember what the hell I ordered. I do know there was a nacho plate that was awesome. But so we took turns that way. Then it started raining and spitting snowflakes. And you know, people at Trump rallies are awesome. Somebody had this big box of plastic parkas, and they were handing out these free parkas to people. So we put the parkas on. And there was this black guy from Jamaica who was talking with people. He had a podcast, and he became a citizen, and he was talking about how people need to become citizens and this and that. And so there was so much diversity at this rally in New Hampshire. This one particular one I went to, there was a lot of Vietnamese, large Asian community in Manchester, and they all love Trump. There were Chinese Americans who are citizens now who were supporting Trump. I saw a person with a shirt that said "Trans Women for Trump." All right. Sorry about that. Battery, had to put in another one. So what I was saying was there was this trans woman for Trump there with a friend who was also trans. And they had MAGA hats on and Trump t-shirts. And they were a big hit. Everybody loved them. So, you know, we're not the racist bigots that the left makes us out to be, the white supremacists and all this crap, and, you know, we hate gays, and we don't. We like gays that mind their own business. Go be gay, do your own thing, but, you know, live and let live. You know, when you go after the damn kids with indoctrinating them, then we got a problem. So anyway, that was really fun and interesting, and that was at a different Trump rally in Manchester. That day it was like 100 degrees. It was really hot, and I was glad I wore a hat, but I should have wore a light colored t-shirt instead of the brown one I was wearing, because it was hot. So the last Trump rally I went to was just before Halloween. It was October 28th, I believe, Manchester Airport. It was a tarmac rally. And that's the one where I have video in my, I think it's in my politics playlist. Video that I shot of Air Force One. And I got video of Trump maybe 20 feet away, waving to us, and when he left also, and also doing his Trump dance. So I got to see all that stuff in person. It was a lot of fun. Really wanted to see Air Force One at least once in my lifetime, and I got to, and it was the best. And I got video of that on my channel somewhere. So I also have in the politics folder from 2016, the first Trump rally I went to, and that is the one where James Comey opened up the email investigation just before Halloween 2016 against Hillary Clinton. So that rally was really cool because on that night we were asked to stay and be part of Sean Hannity's audience. Trump was going to do Sean Hannity from Lisbon, Maine. And we were asked to stay. And that ended up being canceled because Trump was doing 4 rallies that day, and he had to go to, it was either Wisconsin or Minnesota. And he had already been delayed 3 hours to this one because of severe thunderstorms. So he couldn't fly. So if it weren't for that, I would have seen a piece of history. They actually had the Fox truck there, the broadcast truck. They were setting up. So that was close. That would have been a good one. I would have remembered that. So Trump was going to sit there in a folding chair and do an interview with Fox News. And it would have been on Hannity. Or he would have been televised to the Fox studios in New York through their truck and done a remote interview that way. So almost got to see that, but at least I got to feel that excitement. I mean, we were asked to stay. I was like, oh my God, this is the greatest thing ever. And of course it didn't happen, but anyway, he won the election and the rest was history. So anyways, my friends, we'll wrap up the video up ahead. Coming up on 5 miles. Actually, we're past that. I think so. Let me check. Let me verify. I've walked this route before, but sometimes GPS gets a little wonky. Yeah, so this is 5 1/4 miles. I should actually, you know, what happens a lot too is after I'm done walking and I get on the Wi-Fi at home, the GPS corrects itself and the app will put the correct numbers. So when you've walked the same route many, many times, you know what it should say. I'm almost a half mile off, according to where I should be. I should be at about 5 3/4 miles right now, instead of 5 1/4. And it will correct itself, so. And it has more to do with my internet phone connection than anything, I think. Because as soon as you get on Wi-Fi, you get a better location. I think my internet service is either out of Texas or Louisiana for my phone. So there you have it, you know. So I'm coming up to the weed store. Somebody's in there with a mop and bucket, which means I'll probably be closing soon. Whew, I am warm. I'm gonna walk into the AC and it's gonna feel really nice. And I'm gonna take a nice hot shower. Anyways, my friends, thank you for walking with me today. So we're outside the weed mart. Something I don't do. I don't smoke weed. It's legal here in Maine, recreationally. But anyway, we'll see you on the next walk. Say a prayer for Trump and the country. God bless America. God bless you. Be a good patriot. And say your prayers. We'll see you on the next walk, my friends. See you soon. Bye-bye. Take care.